Alright, so in this one we are going to be doing my Dragon Ball Legends August, the middle of August 2025 top 10 / now top 15 tier list here. And there is a very good reason why there's a top 15 list, because there's some talking we have to do about a certain character. Obviously, you'll probably guess who that is. But it has been an interesting time, and let's just get into it. I'm not going to drag out this, shtick any longer. This unit stinks, man. So 11 to 15, let's just put them all on the table. And yes, this is in order. Everything is in order, so enjoy that. With it being 11 of Tien Chatsu, 12 of LF Full Power Frieza, 13 of LF Metal Cooler, 14 of IT Goku, and 15 of, I was going to say Legends Limited, King Cold there. Let's explain each thing, going from the furthest, the far right, number 15, all the way left of number 11. So King Cold, competent. I like him. I mean, he's better than Frost, so I'll take that. I like his little drop combo thing you do, because he has the vanish removal on his green card, so he probably could do just a humongous amount of damage. You drop combo. You're predicting, let's say, Full Power Freeze is going to come in, and you drop combo, pop main ability, you're neutral, and then you blue card. Well, that thing is going to nuke Full Power Freeze's entire bloodline because you're neutral, and that blue card hits like a goddamn missile. So it actually is pretty good value to King Cold on a fun basis and a, a little bit of a unique basis, but he just is a little bit of damage burst. He is just a little bit of nothingness in a whole grand scheme. Holds a blue card, which is pretty nice, but he exists. He's not a bad unit. He's not a fantastic unit. He's very close to the LF on his banner, which is daunting, but he's just whatever. You could use him, you could not. You don't care if he's in the match. You don't care if he's not. You'll have fun using him. You'll lose matches because of him. You'll win matches, maybe, with him helping. But he just exists in the game. 14 of IT Goku. I think IT Goku still has a pretty good capability of damaging setting. It is very rare to see units that are before Anniversary and even the Dragon Ball stuff where damage guard got introduced to actually have damage. But I've seen IT Goku at my low stars even peaking damage, and I've seen really high star ones in the last few seasons actually do crazy stuff. Very rare, this character, obviously, but there's still capabilities. He has uncancelable neutral when he does pop his green card, so you land that, you spam blast on Namek Goku, and you're probably going to 3 to 4 card that first life, and they don't swap out. You will just pop that KO guard mad fast. A lock-in, annoying AoE green. Does roll well, a very glass cannon, but at least there's an aspect to him that is cannon instead of just glass, which is a bit of a dilemma for some characters. And now number 13, Legends Limited Metal Cooler, the newest introduction to this game. Now I will say very obviously that I will make another tier list next weekend, the same day next week on Saturday, with LF Cooler, the Zenkai, assumably that he has enough value to validate one, right? So let's say LF Zenkai Cooler is a dud, and he's not even, top 20. Well, there's no point. But if this Zenkai Cooler is the expectation that people are having, and he's at least like a top 7 unit or something like that, then this Metal Cooler will get help. Then there'll be a new list for that. So give this with a taste of hopefulness, I used to say, for Metal Cooler fans, all one of them that exists. Maybe next week he'll be better. But right now, Metal Cooler, he will, I said this a million times now, this unit will lose you a match because of his own kit more than he will ever win you a match. What I mean by that is a very simple setting that is very common because this unit is very good that I'm about to name. Namek Goku. You get locked in. The Namek Goku has a strike, then they blue card you. Cooler has cancelable neutral, defense neutral. Pretty sure overall, but defense neutral specifically. So they do a strike, blue card. You're probably going to take, I remember day 1, literally, the day 0 actually. First day of my usage with this cooler, I took 6 million damage from a strike blue from Namek Goku, and I said, oh, I'm going to lose on damage. And guess what happened that match? I lost on damage about by 6 to 8 million damage. Cooler was the reason I did that. Cooler is doing nothing worth enough to run him. Like, I understand the whole argument of, and I'm not even trying to be sarcastic, like, I get saying 3 lives is good. It is impactful to a degree. Yes, there is some goodness to that, having longevity, having more resets of your combos and getting back to neutral. There is legitimate argument for goodness there. That's like saying, oh, this is terrible when Turles would pop his comeback. Like, no, you have resets to neutral and you have settings where you can get more opportunity and optimize yourself. Sure. The issue then stems with this unit needs to either tank pretty well or damage pretty well. They have to do at least one of the two, right? They don't have to do both. They have to do one of the two. Cooler can have settings where you build him very defensive and then he tanks okay, like solid, like a bit worse than Kaioken, which isn't a defensive unit, but solid enough, right? But in turn of that, yeah, I'm not trying to compare him to Kaioken standard, even though he should be able to be compared because he is newer than Kaioken. He should be on par with him, if not better, but still. The comparison there would be that Kaioken does damage while he has pretty good durability and pretty good tanking in general sense. Cooler will hit like a hero unit while tanking okay. If he was tanking like Garlic Jr. in his prime, then you could validate Cooler being higher up because he actually is being this Stonewall demon that he wants to be. But Cooler just tanks okay enough. Again, that setting I just named that can happen and will happen a lot of matches is not counterable. You cannot stop it. Yet again, I will state that Zenkai Cooler will help alleviate it a little bit, just a little bit, but it won't be where like, oh yeah, well Metal Cooler can never get sniped by Namek Goku and take 6 million damage on the first few combos. That can never happen. No, that could still happen. It'll just be a little bit more pushed back, a little bit more not in your face as much, depending how good Zenkai Cooler is. But again, we're not there yet. Where we are right now, Cooler is homeless, which does not help him at all. And Cooler does not do extreme damage. He doesn't tank extremely well, so he's just kind of a limbo character that does nothing that he wanted to do. I'm sure the intent of him was like, okay, he could do decent enough damage, but then what really matters is like, get your life popped. Okay, now he's tanking. Now he's really tanky. Well, he's not. Okay, now he's really tanky because he's on his third life now. And he's still not. And that's kind of where the dilemma falls, where they just under-tuned him. He starts with 125% damage guard. I just want you to know, Tambourine, the first sunnable unit, because I'm counting DKP because he has more, first sunnable unit with damage guard has 130. So you have Tambourine, who started with higher damage guard than Cooler starts with in the game. And given Tambourine is obviously all game, yes, I understand that. But the fact that a strike-based unit that is no levity of wanting to tank has higher damage guard than a defense type that is intended to be a tank to start the game, it's just a bit backwards. DKP, I think, has like 160 damage guard. Cooler takes his first life popping to even get to that area and having his gauge pop to get above it. He'll be at, what, 165 with gauge popped and as well as this first life popped. Then he's above DKP. After those stipulations, he's above DKP. And that's only for 10 counts. He has the extra 20 damage guard, by the way. Or whatever, 15, 20, whatever it is. So it's pretty ass, if you could, guess. And that's just what happens. I mean, I don't know what they were doing. They made Turles so well, and it's like, this is a comeback unit with extra lives. It should be very easy to make him better than Turles' peak. And it's like, Turles peaked at number 1, so maybe this guy just wouldn't be number 1 because of his color, but he could still be up there because, Turles was up there. This guy has a very good partner in his Ultra, big or little brother, but I don't know. I just don't know what they were thinking. He's also melee based on stats, which just makes no sense. Like, I get they're trying to make melee LOE, but I already said this. Blast LOE doesn't exist. Blast LOE is LF full power, which has no cover null until a green card pops, by the way, which is fucking horrendous because you need cover null in this game. That's just kind of how the game works. It's crazy. You don't need infinite, but you need some. LF full power, Ultra full power, Revza, who's utter shit individually, DBS Frieza, who's also utter shit. Blast LOE's not a team. You run Namek Saga, or you're not running Ultra full power unless you're just leader slotting him, and you probably be better off leader slotting Ultra full power than ever running him on pure LOE. That's just where LOE is right now. This is a terrible campaign. It has done nothing to actually benefit anybody. Nobody has gained anything of value within this campaign. Not one character, not a person has gained value, because you're trying to think LOE is going to be a real team. Well, it's not a real team. LOE is bad. LOE has been bad. LOE is still bad. LOE is not changed in good to bad. It is better than the shit it was because it has units that have new mechanics and modern mechanics. Doesn't make it good. It's just better than whatever the fuck it was before new units arrived. Still ass. So there's Metal Cooler. Just in the dumps. He could make top 10, maybe. I mean, I hope he makes top 10 with Zenkai Cooler. It's not going to be some Triku shit where, Triku was what, for most people, like 6, 7-ish area on this release, and then boom, Turles dropped, perfect partner. Here we go. We're going crazy, and now Triku's top 2 with Turles is number 1, and that was great for Triku. It's not going to happen with Zenkai Cooler. It's just not possible. Just how the units are right now in this game. For one, Kaioken won't let that happen. For two, Frieza won't let that happen. And while Namek Goku will take a hit, USV is, and I'll talk about USV later, he's 10 counts defense neutral, bro. He's not going to snipe out Cooler. It's just not going to be a thing. That's not going to repeat history itself there. So there's Metal Cooler. I hope he gains value. He probably won't, but I hope he gains value. And then we can continue to actually relevant characters, at least more relevant than him. With it being a lethal power, while I do hate his cover null, he's okay. I mean, he has better disruptive tanking than Cooler. He has better burst damage, he has better disruption, and he is destroying Dragon Balls in a more convenient setting. Just enter. Cooler has two blue cards to destroy Dragon Balls. This guy just has to enter and destroy Dragon Balls, so he has some decency there. He's not ideal. Nothing below, I'm looking at the list on the side here that I have created. Nothing below the top 5 really matters in this game right now. Like top 6 maybe. So anything down here is just a sub option and just an okay character. And you could just see by majority of them, it's just if you have damage guard, you probably end up making the list if you're just decently competent. And that's what this list really is at the bottom at this area. Even going up a little bit more. But full power, decent enough, does its job. Tien, I think Tien is still pretty decent on Saiyan Saga. Obviously, that team is very rare. Every unit on this bottom tier, I think, is very rare. I think every unit below top 5 is very rare. So, I think he does a decent job still if you run, that Apeless, Kaioken, Tien team, Fiku instead of Apeless, whatever, KO guard guy, Namek Goku, Kaioken, and then Fiku, whatever you want, run whatever the hell you want. Tien can do his job. He can have an infinite cover null setting, funny enough, for himself. And he can stonewall decently against Frieza. I mean, kind of the job of Cooler, yes, but I think Tien does it very well as well there. So it wouldn't be the worst thing to run Tien. Obviously, you don't run into him often, but I still think he's pretty competent in his own merit. Now, we get to the top 10. And number 10, I feel weird having him here. But I look at the bottom of this list of the 11 to 15, and I think, yeah, there's nobody else I'd have above him. Mr. Cell makes it as number 10. It's more so that, there just is nobody that's below this that's better than him, to me. That, if that makes any sense. Am I going to say Tien's better? I guess you could argue Tien could be there, sure. Am I going to say Full Power is better? I'd rather Cell. Metal Cooler, I'd definitely rather Cell. IT Goku, they're kind of both one and the same character at this point, but I think Cell has a better setting for his PvP, situation, right? IT Goku's just going to be Namek Goku food. I guess Cell it could be as well, but it takes a little bit longer, so I guess Cell's better. And King Cold, well, he's too far back, so he's not going to make it. This is more just like a pity spot for Cell than oh yeah, he's still him type shit. It means nothing that Cell's here. It's just, I just don't see anybody that's below him in this 11 to 15 that could be above him. So, I guess good job, but there's nothing to even explain. Cell is still doing what he does of dying fast and being able to do some decent bursts, but realistically, there's nothing else to say that I just rather... You could put Tien above him, I guess, but I just rather Cell than Tien right now. Even then, I could easily interchange them, so... Good job, Cell. I guess you made it, but realistically, you're just here out of consolation prize. So I'm proud of you, man. You got the top 10. You really aren't here, but you got there, Cell. Good job. Now that real list starts now. Not really, but gets closer. Number 9 of MUI is next, and I think MUI still has that potential within him. Obviously, he does do a pretty good job in decent matchups where there's no green. If there is a green, it's a bit hazy, but he still can be annoying. He still do his tedious nature of the auto-dodging, the auto-damaging, and all this other bullshit that he does do. I think that just doesn't really age out. It's more so, the more green units we get, the less safety he gets, because he has no safety, that's why he's so low. There's no purple that saves him right now. But the less he gets helped, and the more, the color green gets helped, because green is just the love child of Legends right now. the worse he's going to get. But for now, I mean, there's not much that's like overpowering him, right? Kefla's not common enough in Q. Apeless is not doing enough damage to validate himself of, you know, like out-damaging Kefla or Frieza, so there's no debate there. And then while obviously Ultra Full Power exists, it's not like Ultra Full Power is a bad unit. Obviously, he's one of the best, but there's still ways to segue around where, like, okay, MUI could still sneak snipe, you know, this Namek Goku. He could still get this Kaioken get one-shotted. He could still kill Krillin fast. He could still go type neutral when ally dead and still do pretty good damage to Frieza. Like, there's still decent settings for MUI that coexist. And it's just, again, it's like Cell here, where, yeah, this unit probably isn't going to be running, and he's probably going to do a lot less in matches compared to anybody above these two of Cell and MUI. But there is potential within them in some settings. And again, I'm just looking at 11 through 15. Nothing here strikes my eye that I just rather run than MUI. I think the tedious nature of MUI makes him more wanting to be run in a match than anybody below him. And while that is annoying, that's MUI in this game. That's every UI in this game, frankly. But we do get to number 8, which, I don't know if this is slander, but I don't think so. I've used this unit too many times, and I've learned. Amazing this part of the video. Guess, is this coffee or tea? Because I always get both. Number 8, though, will be Mr. Apeless here. I think Ape, and I know number 8 sounds like slander. It really isn't. It actually is where the tier list kind of starts. But I think he does an okay job. It's just I built him defensive. I built him offensive. I built him where I force focus him on damage. And I just never get enough bang for my buck with this unit. Like, sure, he wants to do long combos and get his gauges refilled and do this blah, blah, blah. But, like, give me a reason why his disrupt is limited to his gauge is filled and then he'll disrupt. Why doesn't he disrupt without the gauge filled? You know what I mean? Like, that's just an example of one tedious nature he has. Why is his Ricardo animation? Well, Kaioken's a short. Another tedious thing that coexists in this game, right? There's nothing to him that's, like, necessity even as well. Like, sure, the revive is obviously, I love you so much. You're so cool. Keep going, please. I'm waiting. Oh, okay. Thank you. There is, you know, decency to him, obviously, but there's no necessity where, like, yeah, sure, revive exists, but okay, I have KO guard. What do I need revive? I have endurance with you. I have whatever the hell else I have in this goddamn game. It really is just KO guard because everyone's running Namek Goku, but I already have KO guard, so what do I need revival? Like, do I need a double safety? Just have a lesser damage dealer? Because Kefla out damages, Full Power Frieza out damages, so I'm going to run a lesser damage dealer just because I have another safety. Like, how dog shit do I have to be at the game to need to run 3 safeties on a team, right? Like, I just don't feel like that's a thing you need to do. You run your full power, who has his endurance, you run your KO guard, Goku, and then you run whatever third that doesn't have safety, but hey, you have 2 right there. The fuck do you need a third one? Like, I just don't think Ape needs to go anywhere on a team. He can fit on teams, which is to his benefit here, which why, you know, he isn't lower, but the damage just isn't there for me, man. I've done enough testing with him. If he was any other color, he probably would do pretty good damage because Zenkai Bus would be much better, but with the color he is, actually red would not be ideal. If he was blue, honestly, if he was blue, he could do definitely much more damage because his Zenkai Bus would probably be a little bit better, but because of what he is, because of the colors that exist in this game, you don't need to run a green unit anyways. There's no necessity to it, unless that green is just so overpowered on damage, then it's like, okay, they're free, just run them, and you're going to go crazy. Ape is not that crazy on damage. Again, the other 2 greens here are just better damage dealers, so why would I just not run them when I already have all my safeties? Like, every slot that needs to be filled on a team is filled by somebody else, so Ape just gets worse and worse and worse on this list, because every slot's already taken, and it's... he goes somewhere, he does make it, it just gets less and less and less, and by how much? Because there's just no necessity for the unit. He just doesn't need to be run. So, I know 8 sounds like bad for a unit, but hey, it's 7th year Annie. At least he makes the list. It's Vegeta making a top 10 list. There's a positive, right? It's not UMV type Vegeta. It's a whatever Vegeta. This isn't really a crazy good or crazy bad Vegeta. It's just a whatever Vegeta. So, good job, Ape. At least you made it. Or Apeless. Now, 6/7, I actually did call like an audible on this, where it's a tie of 6 and 7. If you do have the slash here, by the way, that does mean for me that I could see an interchangeable setting for them. So if you were to swap these two characters, I can understand your point of view. Me personally, I have this on this because I think this is a debatable spot, frankly. So 6/7 would be Fiku and Kefla. Now, there are settings where you could say Kefla definitely does do a pretty good job on her damage, and she can sometimes overtake a match. You know, I have her only at 6 stars, and I've seen her overtake matches and solo matches. I've seen one setting that I will remember for, like, probably the next few weeks, because I still remember it now, where it was Kefla fighting a Kaioken. It was like a 12-star Kaioken. Kefla did 3 strikes, and that man was knocking on death's door. I'm talking he was like 10% health. Obviously, he got his heal from his gauge there, but 3 strikes from a 6-star Kefla, that's like 1x Zenkai buff, and I'm just thinking, what the hell? I don't think she was supported as well. It was just like, what the hell just happened here? Kefla has a very good ceiling of damage, and honestly, it's not really a touchable ceiling because it just keeps increasing because she gets more damage per card she's doing, but she does very well on damage. I think there is a bit of a, not underratedness, but you're just not going to see this unit, so there's going to be inherent downplay on her because, again, all the list really does culminate to is the top 5 are being run. And arguably only 4 units in the top 5 being run more often than not. But I still think she does pretty well. Her being 7 is not some crazy thing. It's not some, you know, outlandish thing here. I think it's just kind of baseline. This unit is good enough to be run. I think she does deserve more usage. And Cooler being such a dud, it should have hurt Kefla a lot. You know, Kefla only goes neutral against Goku's when she does like an ult or some shit. And it's like 10 counts. And it's bad. It's bad. It's terrible neutral. But Cooler's so mediocre and so homeless and so whatever the fuck he is, you don't run into the guy. So it's like, if you run Kefla, you're probably not going to run into the issue of like, oh, there's that purple guy that exists. Bitch, where? Obviously, she does have partners that are yellow with Namegoku, USV, whatever, but you would just assume she had bigger issues, which she does not, thankfully for herself. And then Fiku, I do have 6/7. Again, I have it this way on purpose. I kind of drift toward the Kefla above Fiku thing, but I'll keep it as it is here. I think Fiku's diversity of team does help him more. The trio that I see most often run would be Namegoku, Kaioken, Fiku. And I like that team. I also kind of dislike it because, let's say you're running Namek Saga, right? You're running both Ultras and Krillin, and Frieza starts catching people. Well, you're not tanking on that team. You're just not. Frieza's Frieza, bro. You know what Frieza does. So you're going to get that KO guard popped mad quick. And that gets popped, you have no endurance, you have no safety, and now you're just a rush victim. You know, you're a lock-in Namegoku victim. You're a rush victim. Either or, you're a victim to some bullshit that's going to happen fast. So while that team is good, and it's going to make Kaioken look like a demon because he's on roids and he's on Saiyan Saga clips and he's got everything, there is kind of like a, this could be a little bit bad in some spots. So while Fiku has diversity of obviously Saiyan Saga, that pure Saiyan team, you could run some other shit here, I'm sure, because he does, I'm pretty sure he supports generally, right? Just have to swap out twice and he gets like 40% support for his allies. Whatever it is, you want to run them, you can run them on a multitude of teams. It's just, are they perfect? No. Is Kefla teams perfect? No. So both kind of have that team goodness, but Fiku has better team diversity, and both have team issues, but Fiku has more diversity. I don't know. I think 6/7, again, it can be interchangeable. This is why I can't swap them, because I just can't figure out what would be more valuable to an individual. Me personally, the more teams they can be on, the better off the unit's going to be. It's just simple math with that. Unless their individual kit is so well done that kind of usurps it, that's not happening here. Kefla's individual kit's not some godly thing. It's, I click card, I do damage, I go burr. Great, cool. Well, if you don't, then you're going to die. It's kind of bad, right? It's kind of like an IT Goku. But Kefla's actually modern IT Goku, basically, at this point. So that's where Kefla and Fiku go at 6/7. And then number 5 will be what ZVG says. ZVG's always right, of course, with this one take. Krillin! Number 5. I originally did have it where it was Fiku and Krillin tied, actually, and then Kefla was just guaranteed number 7, but I changed it. Namek Saga is just way too good. Again, I don't think there really is an outright best team. People like to say Namek Saga, people like to say that Kaioken, Frieza, Namek Goku team, whatever, right? It's one of those two for a lot of people's arguments. I don't think they're his best team, but I understand the argument of Namek Saga more after running it even more in that very long Metal Core video I did. And yeah, no, the bursting that really just the bursting encapsulated toward and from Ultra Full Power Frieza, because Krillin support is very strong. I mean, all Namek Saga is just like a healthier Daima. The thing is that's making it healthier, quote unquote healthier, is that it's not doing the paralyze and fucking faint gimmicks that Ku was doing. It is giving the same health restore and a sub-count manipulation as Daima, which is the still toxic but not as toxic thing. So that's all Namek Saga is. It's just new Daima. I know people aren't really saying that, but that just read and you'll see it literally is new Daima. Like, it's just less toxic, new Daima. It's still a piece of shit because Frieza and Namek Goku are pieces of shit. Krillin's not a piece of shit. The Ultras are. It was backwards on Daima. It was Ku being a piece of shit, and the other two are just whatevers. You know, Daima forward Ku, okay, he's gonna take away your fucking cover and all, whatever. Mini Ku's gonna burst you down, whatever. It was Ku being a piece of shit. Now it's the opposite, where it's the supporter being an honest guy, and then the Ultras being the pieces of shit, which it's Ultras, so nothing new there. So Krillin does make number 5. Again, obviously his utility he offers is way too strong. I know his individual sucks. We've been here before. We've seen this with, I guess the best example of everyone would know would be Red Pan. Her individuality is not that great. Obviously, it wasn't the worst thing ever because you're running really glazed hybrids, but, you know, she's not some top 3 unit individually, but her support toward Blue Beast, her support toward XYZ was making her very top tier. And same case for Krillin here. Anything higher would be a little bit outlandish, so I'm not going to say that, but 5 is where Krillin does peak for me. And then we get to number 4 of Mr. Ultra Super Vegito. Now, it is weird. Ultra Super Vegito is not that common in my queue. If I'm going to fight units, it's going to be the next 3 units, and then Mr. number 5 here, most likely, honestly. And maybe even Fiku more often than USV. But I still think USV is a pretty good unit. I don't see his value going down anytime really soon. He just doesn't need to be in matches as often as Namek Goku. I guess that's his only dilemma, that he has Namek Goku existing with him. The thing is, Namek Goku also helps him a lot, but Namek Goku existing with him is just kind of painful. I mean, there is settings you could say, like USV Namek Goku versus Kaioken. You know, USV is the one that's going to make you live and win that match because you have the defense neutrals. And despite that red being there, you have the double Zenka buff, you have defense neutrals, you have the really high damage guard in USV. He's going to be one of the tankiest units in the game right now. He's going to win you the match sometimes with that. And that's great. That's awesome. You know, you just stall out for the lock-in situation, pop the KO guard, boom, boom, boom. You rush the Kaioken, you win the match. And that's kind of like his flaw, but also his benefit that he has that defense neutral really does save him from being any lower. I mean, if he didn't have that, I would probably easily have Krillin above him and maybe even Fiku. Probably even Fiku, actually. And Kefla would be, like, tied with him. Like, he would be much lower at that defense neutral. This Kaioken does exist, right? But, yeah, no, he does his role okay. He just really is just reliant on Namek Goku right now, unfortunately. So hopefully something drops to make him less reliant on Namek Goku. But he's okay. He's just a sub-option to the best yellow. And the best yellow is Mr. 2/3 here of Kaioken and Namek. Obviously referring to Namek Goku being the best yellow in the game. Nothing changes in the top tiers. We would have hoped for it to change. I mean, I'm just going to put number 1 because who the fuck else would it be? We would have hoped for it to change, but nope. Cooler is, you know, all the way down there in number 13. So not really much going on different there. 2/3 though, Kaioken, Namek. People like to say Kaioken, people like to say Namek. People like to say Namek Goku is 1 at some point. I'm just like, I don't know. I've been more siding on Namek Goku's, you know, push forward day by day. You know, when I see those lock-ins, when I see those feints, I see the AoE green, the easiness. I see all these things, and I'm like, I think it's matchup dependent. You know, some matchups it's going to look like Kaioken's the best unit on the team when a match happens. Some units going to look like Namek Goku's the best unit on the team. Or rather, the second best on both their teams because Frieza's on both their teams. But you get my point, right? I think it's matchup dependent where Kaioken looks better than Namek on this setting, and then Namek looks better than Kaioken on this setting. So they just stay there. Interchangeable means you could swap them. So if you want Namek Goku 2, Kaioken 3, or this, feel free. And obviously, Ultra Full Power Frieza does hit the number 1 slot, which is, again, hilarious because we're in an LOE campaign, and it's not because of LOE campaign that he's number 1. He's just fucking been here. Namek Saga is what it is. People have been leader sliding this guy on strike teams. They want to run a mono green, bro. What do you lose? Run Kefla. Run Apeless Vegeta. Run Frieza. Run that. Have fun. Who fucking cares? You could just so easily do that. You want to run USV full power Frieza and I don't know, fucking Kaioken? Okay, cool. Probably not that because of the Ultra ability, but still, you get my point though, right? Like USV, Kefla, Frieza, go run that. Like who gives a fuck? Just run it, bro. Frieza has nothing to stop him. He's him. I mean, I even see Cooler take zillions damage. I had my Cooler, H-Star Cooler, Zenkai buff, double Zenkai buff actually. He took 90% from a full power Frieza combo that was 10 stars. I don't even think he was Zenkai buffed. And it was on like a strike mix build. That's my Mellow Cooler took. And I was like, defense unit. Very good tanking, Mr. Defense Unit. LF defense units are always just so fucking bizarre. But this is my top 10/15 tier list here, with it being Ultra Full Power Frieza number 1, number 2/3 being Kaioken LF Goku, and Ultra Super Saiyan and Namek Goku. Number 4 being Ultra Super Vegito. Number 5 being Red Sparking Krillin. Number 6/7 being Sparking Feetku, the only 3-for-3 1% unit I believe in this game right now. I don't think there's another. And then Legends Limited Kefla. Number 8 being Apeless Vegeta LF. 9 being LFMUI Goku. 10 being Ultra Cell. And 11-15 being Tien Shatsu 1%. LF Full Power Frieza. LF Metal Cooler. LFIT Goku. And King Cold number 15. This is a terrible campaign. Hopefully it gets better, because we do have another week after this Zenkai Cooler week, so hopefully something happens, bro. Like something, I don't know, that's gonna make an impact, because what the fuck am I looking at on this fucking list? The whole top 5 is the same shit that I saw a month ago. I don't want that. Change the shit. See you in the next one.